But this time it will be something that that will unite us, because we will have a Torah quiz. And what will it be? You will see a sequence of emojis or a piece of art. And your task will be to guess the Torah story, what is hidden behind. It's a little bit like charade, but in emojis. So let's try. They are all at very different levels. So some of them are very simple, and I think that all of us will guess it quite quickly. But some, I hope, are quite hard. But I also hope to be proven wrong. So let's try. The first one is this. Which story is behind this emojis? Joseph's dream. And indeed, this person is sleeping and sees some whatever sheaves, and then person is sleeping and sees stars and the moon and the sun. And indeed, Genesis 37, Joseph's dreams. Okay, so far so good. What about this one? I will tell you that this is Rembrandt. And what story does he depict? What story he's trying to tell us? Let's think out loud. What can we see here? We see young child on the right-hand side, yes indeed. And on the left-hand side, who is it? It seems like an older man. Yes, the older man is holding a child. And on the right hand, there is a child a bit older. Okay, there's Solomon. I will tell you in advance, it's only from Torah. It is not from the Book of Prophets. Nothing what we will have today will be from the Book of Prophet. It is Simchat Torah, not Simchat Tanakh. So that's why all the stories will be from Torah. Blessing of children, who might give the blessing? Number of them who can give a blessing. Okay, I will reveal this, and I'm sure that people on the... it is not very easy, because the child, it is unclear what gender the child is on the right? So is it a long hair, either a beautiful boy or girl, it's unclear, but I think that's where the Rembrandt's genius is. Because this is Joseph recounting his dreams. So it is connected to the emoji. And when he is telling his dreams to his family. And that's how Rembrandt sees it. And of course, Joseph will later on have or not have, it's unclear, probably not, an affair with Potiphar's wife. And this is Rembrandt's interpretation of how Joseph looks. So he is a beautiful young man. So let's do the next one. That's fun. What can we see? 12 spies. Absolutely correct. There are 12 people, and looking like detectives, or maybe intelligence agents, or maybe spies. 12 spies, exactly. That's absolutely right. Numbers 13, 12 spies. Thank you, Suzanne. Okay, this one, you need to use your logic. Okay, what you can't do on Saturday, yeah? Yes, okay.
12 commandments.
So, what is it?
12 commandments.
How many?
Oh.
10.
12?
12 commandments?
I can't free.
Are there 12 commandments in the Torah?
No.
12 tribes, 10 commandments, exactly.
Sorry.
on the Mount Sinai, Moses received 10 commandments, 5 negative and 5 positive. So what are they? They don't correspond necessarily to each, but something negative, something positive. Exactly, 10 commandments, Exodus 19. Why Exodus and not Deuteronomy? Because I included the Mount Sinai. This is how I see it. Okay, this one is one of the hard ones. What can we see? You can't see quite clear. I will try to explain what's there because you might not be able to see. There is a woman and a child on the bottom. And you may spot in heavens or on the sky some angelic figure flying towards them. Ishmael and Hagar, absolutely right, Sue. Yes, this is not one of the obvious stories that people normally choose, but that's exactly, that's in 1835, that Hagar in the wilderness, that she's praying, she's complaining about what happened to her, and angel is about to come and say that everything will be fine. Okay, this one. They are not in chronological order, by the way. There is some kind of a love story, probably, the first. Oh, Susanna again. Well done. Jacob, Leah, and Rachel, Genesis 29. When Jacob had wanted to ask Rachel to marry him, and then worked for 7 years, but that something went wrong in that relationship, and for 7 more years, and that's the story of Jacob, Leah, and Rachel. Exactly. Let's do the next one. This is a bit more of a Generation Z logic applied. So read it a bit more metaphorically, but you certainly know this quote from Torah. Certainly know. Everybody knows that. Love your neighbor as yourself. That's exactly right. Love your neighbor as yourself. Leviticus 19. And this is called the golden rule of Torah because it is exactly in the middle in terms of composition, in terms of where it is. Absolutely right. This one is, again, a bit hard, but this one is unknown author, but you can tell the story. You need to read it as comics, as a comic, as a comic novel. So you read it from, you begin from left, right, and then it tells you a story. It's not just one. Alex, I have to ask you, did you see it before? You didn't see this one. Okay, so everybody is invited now to guess. So we can see now that an older person is giving instructions to somebody, and then this somebody is going with camels, with lots of camels somewhere to a city, to a different city, and then something happens near a well. Rachel, that's absolutely correct. Those people, unknown artist, Abraham's sons Eliezer, but it is to get Rebecca. So that's almost. I think that it is. Okay, excellent. And this is the story, of course, when Abraham tells. I will come back. Sorry. When Abraham tells Eliezer, Eliezer decides that only someone who not only gives water to him, but to all his camels, will be worthy to become his master's son's wife. So that's how he chose. That's why the well. And here, let's see. I will give no clues. I think it might be a bit hard, but it's. What I did remove from the original is on the first row, there are many people, and some of them, the original of this, some of them was swearing emojis. Complaining, and then Moses did? Exactly. When people complain that there's no water in the wilderness, in the desert, And Moses is upset and speaks to God, and God tells Moses to do one thing, just to speak to the rock and ask for water. And Moses hits the rock, and not once or twice, but twice. And the water comes out of the rock. But Moses is punished for mistrust. And this is why we read what we read today. This is why Moses dies without entering the land. So that's the Moses strikes the rock in Numbers 20. This is one of my favorites. The second can be interpreted as a horse, but it is not a horse. Yeah, I gave it away now. It is speaking donkey in the story of Balaam, and when Balaam was asked to go and curse the Jewish people, and he doesn't want to do it, but the Balak, the king, insists and tells Balaam to go and do it anyway. So he saddles the donkey, rides the donkey to the hill, so to see the people, but donkey stops and refuses to go further. He hits the donkey, is very angry, and then suddenly donkey begins to speak and says, well, you may not see everything I see. I see an angel in front of me telling me not to go and blocking my way. So this is a nice lesson. I think when we are angry sometimes, it can simply be that we don't see the full picture. The next one is one of my favorite stories in the Tanakh. Very modern. So what can we see here? Solomon, it can be, but there are 5 women and not 2 here. And also the story of Solomon is from the prophets, and this one has to be from Torah. There's something with women and some kind of a leader. And the daughters of, oh yeah, you know the story, you just forgot the name. It is daughters of Zelophehad. This is one of the very relevant story, very, very feminist idea. Then what happened is that their father died and left no sons. And according to the laws of ancient Middle East, only a man can inherit property or anything. And they came and complained to Moses, how come everybody will receive something but we wouldn't? And Moses, eventually it was decided that yes, they should. It was injustice, and this is one of the very good stories, daughters of Zelophehad. So, and women inherited. What about this one? Burning bush. How did you know? Absolutely correct. Yes, and of course on that time, Moses was told to remove his shoes because the ground was holy ground, and that's why there are some feet over there. So this one is genuinely hard. I know that. I don't expect anyone to guess. Genuinely very hard. Alex might guess, actually. But yeah. Who knows? I will give you time. Say it again. Shabbat? To observe Shabbat. No. Something about rain, something about listening. Alex, Rabbi Alex, I think that they don't give titles senior rabbi just for nothing. Ha'azinu hashamayim v'adabera. Listen, you heavens, and I will speak. Hear, you earth, the words of my mouth. Let my teaching, this is the teacher, fall like rain, and my words distill like dew. So everything is there. Everything is there. You just need to know your Torah. And what about this one? This is Marc Chagall, by the way. It's horns. Well, it's not exactly horns. There is a misunderstanding in the Torah text that one of the characters, when he spoke face to face with God, it's written that his whole face was shining. You know, when we say that we see the spark in somebody's eyes. So, and the Torah exaggerates the image and says that not only his eyes was shining or had spark, his entire face was shining. And more than that, the two rays of light were coming out of his face. And we are talking about Moses, yes. So, and this is why some people interpret, because of the ambiguity of Hebrew word for ray of light, it can be translated as horn. Some people depict Moses with horns, but of course it can't be that the Torah says about horns. That's why Moses is often depicted with rays of light, or mistakenly with horns, but mistakenly. Okay, Moses and Joshua. We just read it. Moses gave his blessing. The very last chapter of the Torah, Moses is giving blessing to Joshua. Deuteronomy 34, this is Marc Chagall's illustrations to the Torah. And this is the final one. Let's say it together. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Listen, O Israel, the Eternal One is our God. The Eternal God is one. Chag Sameach.